And now, live in studio, cutting through your typical media nonsense and offering you a rational and unbiased perspective on current events and life in Tampa Bay. He's a successful entrepreneur, published author, top listing agent, a real estate and finance expert that goes to bat for you every day as a consumer advocate. Your host and the consumer quarterback, Brandon Rhymes.
And yes, here we are again, another day committed to being a consumer advocate in the area, helping you understand your buying decisions, making you more street smart here on the Consumer Quarterback Show, Intelligent Talk Radio right here in Tampa Bay. Welcome to our episode here. Salem Media family, thanks so much for all your support over the years. We get calls every day, every week. People calling in want to get connected with our different expert contributors from the show. 50 different show partners, 80 categories of consumer advocate content and advice right here on the Consumer Quarterback Show. Save our hotline number in your phone at some point. You may need it, 813-750-0550. Call or text. It's an off-air number, 813-750-0550. And that's the consumer hotline. Also, you can reach out on the website, consumerqb.com. You can see links there to all of our expert contributors, a plethora of information available for you at consumerqb.com. Quick shout out to our one of our show partners here, Replenish IV Solutions. If you want to feel replenished, hydrated, and energized, reach out to Replenish IV Solutions. Stephen and Lisa Gunn, longtime friends of the program. Basically, they're going to hook you up. The nurse is going to hook you up with a vitamin infusion drip directly into your bloodstream. It's going to make you feel better. It's going to help you stave off a lot of these viruses floating around as well, nutrients into your body, C's and B vitamins, great stuff. Replenish IV Solutions. I go at least once a month down to the Gandy location, but they've got multiple locations, and they can come to you, to your home or office. Replenish IV Solutions, longtime friends of the Consumer Quarterback Show. All right, a couple of hot listings for this segment. We got a property on Gulf Boulevard. This is 1200 Gulf Boulevard, number 1805 on Sand Key in Clearwater. $2.67 million listing that we've got. Beautiful property, almost 4,000 square feet, 3-bedroom suites, office as well, Gulfside balconies, also intercoastal waterways, beautiful views from this Meridian condo penthouse, 1200 Gulf Boulevard, number 1805, right here in Tampa Bay. All right, 3506 Caleb's Forest Trail. This is out in Dover. It's East Hillsborough County, $799,000 asking price, 3506 Caleb's Forest Trail. Beautiful pool area. You've got a barbecue area out back, kitchen, outdoor kitchen. Just a great executive style home right here in Tampa Bay. You can see all of our listings at platinummvpteam.kw.com.
This is God's country.
All right, we got Matthew Cox in the house. Welcome back, man.
Hey, thanks for having me.
Hey, my pleasure. So you are author, Fraudshine State. Oh, I'm looking at Kevin's. Kevin was supposed to be on it. You're author of a different book, Shark in the Housing Pool, and
right.
Also you were featured on American Greed, Behind the Scams. Can you give us a quick overview of what happened there?
At American Greed is just the basic story.
Basic story. Fraudshine State with Kevin's book, and then he talks about his property Firewall. So I thought we might give a little summary of kind of how we got into that position, and with Kevin teaming up with you. And
I own a mortgage company, and I ended up getting in trouble. I ended up getting in trouble for lying on an application. I ended up on supervised probation, and I started committing just like full-time fraud. I think the FBI said I stole, or I defrauded the banks out of $11.5 million in Ybor City, 109 houses. My mortgage company did something like $40 million in fraud. And then I went on the run. The FBI showed up to arrest me. I took off on the run, and I was on the run for 3 years. I was number one on the Secret Service's most wanted list. I stole another $3.5 million. Got caught a few times, talked my way out of it. Eventually I got caught, went to prison, got 26 years, ended up doing 12 and a half years, got out, and now I work with Kevin on title fraud.
Wow, that's pretty cool, man. I mean, just the background.
On preventing title fraud.
That you did, yes, that you were able to get out in that time, and now you're kind of dedicating your time back to helping people and making people aware. Property Firewall, can you speak a little bit on Kevin's behalf, what we're doing, what he's doing with Property Firewall?
Well, he started this company that basically monitors titles, which would essentially stop people like myself from being able to it's hard to explain because there's so many different things you can do with public records and people's properties. And one of the things I was doing was let's say I would rent your house. Really, I don't even have to rent the house, but to simplify it, I could rent your house. Then I could satisfy the mortgage on your house. I could either assume your identity or transfer the deed out of your name into someone else's name. And then I could go borrow money from either banks or hard money investors on your property.
Right.
So I'll give you an example. In South Carolina, one time I actually acquired a property worth about $225,000. I borrowed roughly $1 million on that property, pulled the money out, and then took off. So by the time the authorities show up or the actual homeowner shows up or homeowner is notified that this has occurred, it's too late. I'm gone with the money, and they investigate. And who are they really looking for? They're not looking for Matt Cox. They're looking for some phantom borrower or some synthetic identity or another stolen identity. I actually borrowed that money. I borrowed $2.3 million in the name of a homeless guy that I had surveyed. I'd taken a survey of him, acquired a legitimate driver's license, an ID in his name, social security number, everything. Opened up a bunch of bank accounts. He has no credit. Still managed to borrow $1.3 million on 2 properties in South Carolina.
Wow.
Was actually arrested by the police in South Carolina. Convinced them I hadn't done anything wrong.
Wow.
And at that moment, I was number 1 on the Secret Service's most wanted list. They let me go. I pulled out some more money out of the bank, took off on the run. Homeowner was notified the whole thing had occurred weeks later.
Wow.
And so you can imagine what they had to do to try and untangle that entire mess that I saddled them with.
Yeah, by the time they get notice of it, they see, okay, the yard has grown up, the grass is high.
They owe $1 million on a house that's worth $225,000, and they have to hire an attorney. They have to go through this whole thing trying to explain to banks that they really own the house and that they have to go through foreclosure. They had to. So the thing is like with Kevin's company, that wouldn't have been possible.
Right.
Or at the very least, it just wouldn't have been possible. Like there's no way I would have done that had I been notified the property was being monitored. And that's the whole thing about Kevin's is, one, not only does he monitor your actual title, he notifies everyone that sees the title it's being monitored.
Yeah. Property firewall is Kevin's product, and it's essentially so when that perpetrator or that potential perpetrator would go into the title, they're going to see a notice that says what? It says something like this property is being monitored by property firewall.
Right. And so what will happen is anytime there's any change in your title at all, his company's notified, and he immediately notifies the homeowner and says, "Hey, listen, did you just transfer the deed to your title, or did you satisfy your loan, or was your loan transferred?" I mean, he notifies you immediately, and if you say no, well, then you have the opportunity that you can contact the police. You can catch the guy mid scam. Yeah, and that's what's detrimental to a fraudster or a con man or whomever is out doing this.
Yeah, and that's an important part of it is to be in a position where you can at least stop it before it gets completed. Because once it's completed, the homeowner, the onus is on them, right? They got to go back and try to unravel that, prove themselves innocent, in a sense, right?
Well, and what's interesting about that is that right now, like everybody knows what credit card fraud is. Mm-hmm. They know there are variations of credit card fraud. They see it. They have a basic understanding. Nobody understands or has any idea that this is possible. They've never heard of it. It's not publicized. It happens all the time. The FBI said it's one of the fastest growing white-collar crimes in the U.S., and people don't even know about it. First of all, it's more complicated than the average person, and the average person thinks they get a title policy at closing, and they think they're covered. Yeah, they don't realize that title policy doesn't cover them. Their homeowner's insurance doesn't cover them. Right, it's completely up to them. And the way it is right now, I could go in, I could completely just devastate these people's entire title, and it really just steal their identity, pull millions of dollars out on their home. And I can do it for months before they're ever notified. Right. By the time they figure it out, they're now being notified by a bank that's foreclosing on their property. Yeah. And I've been gone for months.
It's a little too late at that point.
Right. Now it's just a matter of them trying to figure out how to correct this issue with no help from anyone. And the police and federal law enforcement has a cursory understanding of the actual crime.
Right. And they don't want to get involved. They say, hey, listen, you got to find an attorney, you got to spend money.
Right.
So ultimately homeowner.
They'll actually tell them, oh, it's it's between you and the bank.
Exactly.
And what are you talking about?
Yep.
Someone just took my $300,000 house away and transferred the title, borrowed $1 million. How is that not criminal?
Yeah, exactly.
They don't really understand.
They don't understand it, exactly. And Matt Cox here on the Consumer Quarterback Show. I'm your host, Brandon Rhymes. He was on American Greed, Behind the Scams, and that's when I first, kind of caught wind of the story and was like, wow, American Greed, that's a pretty cool show that's on CNBC, I believe. CNBC is the network, but... great point you made too is title insurance only insures the history of the property, so it insures you going backwards.
Right.
And then just like when we buy health insurance or car insurance, okay, great, yeah, we're insuring the future if we get an accident or we get sick or something like that. But there's really no insurance for this other than propertyfirewall.com. It's a similar. I shouldn't say it's an insurance, but it's a way that you can
monitoring service.
Propertyfirewall.com is where you can find more information. Kevin Overstreet is a friend of the program, contributor to the program, and an expert contributor. He owns title companies here in Tampa Bay as well. You've heard him talking about propertyprequal.com. So stay with us. We're going to take a quick break here. More with Matthew Cox here when we come back. He's an author of Shark in the Housing Pool. And I want to talk about some of the stories. You said you got some really interesting stories from when you were in prison and the different folks you met. Can you tee that up real quick? Give us a little teaser of what we're going to talk about.
Oh, yeah. Well, I mean, when I went to prison, I started writing my fellow inmates' true crime stories, and I've optioned a few of them, and I'm getting some of them are being turned into documentaries, and there's just...
And the one was the War Dogs.
War Dogs. I wrote Ephraim Deveroli, which is played by Jonah Hill. I wrote his memoir while I was incarcerated.
All right, we'll be right back. Find out about that story and more right here on the Consumer Quarterback Show, consumerqb.com.
Hey, this is Grant Cardone, and you're listening to Consumer Quarterback Show, hosted by my friend Brandon Rhymes. Do not touch that dial. I'll come right through the radio and grab your throat.
To get in touch with Brandon, call 813-670-7372. Online at consumerqb.com.
My friends, when choosing a listing agent to sell your home, their track record is critically important. Dennis Prager here for Brandon and Lindsay Rhymes, owners of Platinum MVP Team at Keller Williams Real Estate. They're consistently rated by the MLS in the top 1% of all Tampa Bay realtors, and that's a big deal. Brandon and Lindsay are always among the top realtors in the state. Call them today at 813-750-0550.
Find them at platinummvpteam.kw.com.
Selling commercial or residential property? Don't leave money on the table. List with the Platinum MVP Team at Keller Williams Realty. I'm Brandon Rhymes. Reach me at 813-670-7372 or platinummvpteam.com.
My name is James DeJerome, and I produce the Consumer Quarterback Show for Brandon Rhymes. The Consumer Quarterback Show is a team, a group of like-minded professionals who partner together to provide our audience sound advice, knowledge, and information to make them wiser consumers. We work with all types of business owners and aggressively promote our local economy. We're currently conducting interviews for our expert contributors. If you own a business or know someone who would benefit from the exposure our show provides, please contact us at 813-750-0550 or online at consumerqb.com.
You're listening to the Consumer Quarterback, Brandon Rhymes, cutting through your typical media nonsense and offering you a rational and unbiased perspective on current events and life in Tampa Bay. Online at consumerqb.com.
All right, welcome back. Thanks for spending some time with us here on the Consumer Quarterback Show, maybe in your afternoon drive, or maybe you're checking out a video on YouTube. We've got over 1,200 videos on our YouTube channel. Subscribe online. We would love to connect with you on our YouTube channel, Brandon Rhymes Realty. You can find 1,200 plus videos, and we would love to educate you in different areas of business, finance, home services. That's what we do here on the Consumer Quarterback Show. We help you win in any marketplace. Got a couple of hot listings here in Tampa Bay. 5402 U.S. Highway 92. This is a bar that I've got for sale out in East Hillsborough County. Corner lot location, almost 2,000 square feet. Now, the main thing is you get a 4 COP beverage license, liquor license, that is can be used in a lot of different ways. $12,000 to $14,000 a week in income coming in at this bar, and it's the Finish Line Saloon, 5402 U.S. Highway 92 in Plant City. We also have Gill's Body Shop available, 1602 East MLK, right here in Tampa Bay. A body shop, 45 years in business. If you are a mechanic type person, a body shop, this is a great opportunity to buy a turnkey operation, 45-year-old business right here in Tampa Bay. Busy location right in the corner lot in Tampa, centrally located to I-4 and 275, 1602 East MLK Junior Boulevard. And you can see all of our listings at platinummvpteam.kw.com. And a quick shout out to Bill Maher Beach Resort, the official hotel partner of the Consumer Quarterback Show. Check out our friends over at the Bill Maher Beach Resort, Treasure Island, Florida. Clyde Smith is the general manager. Great guy, great team over there. 2 pools on site, Sloppy Joe's Beach Bar and Restaurant, and just an amazing beach right there on Treasure Island. Book directly at BillMaherBeachResort.com. Find them online and tell Clyde that the Real Estate Quarterback sent you. All right, back here in studio, we got Matthew Cox in studio, featured on American Greed, Behind the Scams, and he's also an author of Shark in the Housing Pool, and he's teamed up with Kevin Overstreet for his property Firewall. Now, we kind of talked a little bit before the show and sometime between segments where, when you're in prison, first of all, talk a little bit about the prison system, but also what you've seen, like some of the stories that you get in there, because that's how they came up with Wolf of Wall Street, right? Wolf of Wall Street was the gentleman from New York. I forgot his name.
Jordan
Belfort. Yeah.
Right.
So he was in a cellmate with Cheech and Chong and someone else. Anyways, they talked about his story. They wrote the movie, and then now Leo did the movie Wolf on Wall Street. But tell me a little bit about your insights.
I just when I went in, I was contacted by different media, outlets and writers, and I started to, everybody kept saying, you have a great story, you should write a book. So then I actually, wrote my memoir. But, while I wrote the memoir, guys always saw me writing. And at that point, I realized I really enjoyed it, and I had a considerable amount of time left.
Yeah.
So it's, your choices are, you can join a softball league, or you can learn to play an instrument, or you can learn to be a chef. And I didn't want to do any of those things. So I decided I was going to start writing my fellow inmate stories, because there were guys. I mean, I've met like 6 or 7 guys that were on American Greed.
Wow.
And Dateline. Like, I've been on Dateline, and guys are being contacted by reporters, but they're afraid to talk to them because they're feeling like they didn't get a fair shake.
Right.
And so guys started reading my story, my memoir, and guys started coming to me saying, hey, can I tell you about my story? And other guys are coming to me saying, hey, you have to talk to my cellie. He just got here. He's got an amazing story. Next thing you know, I have a line of guys, and I ended up writing a guy by the name of Ephraim Deveroli's story.
Yeah.
I wrote his memoir. It's called Once a Gun Runner. And the movie War Dogs is based off of a Rolling Stone article that was written about not about Deveroli, but about David Packows, which was his sidekick.
Yeah.
So that's how the movie ended up getting made. But I wrote Deveroli's memoir. He got out of prison, and then while I was writing it, I was approached by many other guys. I ended up writing a guy named Doug Dodd's story, and Dodd, I actually got him into Rolling Stone magazine, and we optioned the film rights to his story. New Line Cinema bought the option, and they've optioned it several times since then. Then I wrote a story about a guy named John Boziak. It's called Bent, and he's a homeless kid he grew up homeless on the streets of Miami, and he ultimately ended up becoming he got a degree in graphic design from the Miami Art Institute, and ended up making fraudulent or counterfeit credit cards for the Russian mob. I think it was like $3.5 million worth. He has an amazing story. He has a better story than my story.
Wow.
I mean, it's just because it's just insanity. Yeah. And my story is very white collar crime, con man, little clean cut, and there's all those escapes and those tense situations. Anyway, so Bent was a great story, and that we just had a sizzle reel made, and it's being turned into a documentary. Essentially, they call it a a hybrid. I call them docudramas, but it's like with a documentary with reenactments.
Yeah, and they do the reenactment.
Yeah, they
may
do
not
them all.
show the
That's
face
how they're
or
all
something.
like that now.
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
Yeah, it's super cool. So that's happened. I've got another story that's getting a sizzle reel made, which is called It's Insanity, which is actually about a bipolar lawyer who he's from Orlando, who he has features of schizophrenia and believed he was going to take over the world.
Wow.
I mean, which is just completely bizarre and would simply be bizarre if he hadn't stolen $180 million from the federal government and tried to buy some military aircraft. He plotted a coup in the Congo. There's a documentary about him. I mean, it's just insanity.
Wow.
But I wrote a book on him called It's Insanity. So I wrote about 20 short stories and 7 books.
Cool.
And that's what I did as I burnt up my time. And then eventually that same lawyer, Frank Amadeo, got 12 years knocked off my sentence and got me cut free. I was supposed to be released in 2030. Instead, I was released in the beginning of 2019.
I was going to ask you that. How did you get such a reduced sentence?
He's amazing.
Yeah.
It's amazing. He's delusional, thinks God's talking to him and he's going to take over the world, but it doesn't affect his law work. So, I mean, listen, I spent a couple years not even talking to him because he was so, he was so out there. He had these delusions.
Yeah.
And yet then I start seeing him taking on guys' cases and literally walking guys out of R&D or out the front gate.
Wow.
He's getting guys sentenced 5 years taken off this guy's sentence, 10 off this guy. This guy gets immediate release. This guy gets 20 years knocked off. This guy gets 15.
Wow.
So finally a buddy of mine said, hey, you got to go talk to Frank.
Wow.
And he's, I owe him 12 years.
Yeah.
If I actually start telling the story, I'll tear up and start crying.
That's unbelievable.
Every single time.
Right. I mean, I can't believe it.
Kind of a sissy.
We're talking with Matthew Cox here on the Consumer Quarterback Show. He's teamed up with Kevin Overstreet. PropertyFirewall.com can help protect you and your family from this white-collar crime that's happening out there. It happens more than you want to know, and it's one of those situations where you don't know what you don't know in a lot of cases. So we talked a little bit about in the first segment. Matt, we got about a minute and a half left here. Do you want to kind of summarize this all up for me, if you can? Property Firewall. I know we talked about some stories, but
I think Kevin's got a great product. I think here's the thing about it is it's so inexpensive, and in comparison, just the safety factor alone is worth spending $10 a month.
Exactly.
In order to protect your house, and you don't have to worry about it. And the worst thing is that people just don't know they're at risk. And then they get slammed and they have to spend $10,000 with some attorney to try and untangle the entire event.
Yeah.
Or issue that occurs, and it's just not worth not spending 25 cents, 30 cents a day.
Yeah, it's the asymmetrical risk reward. It's like it's like a pile of coat hangers. You see a big pile of wire coat hangers. You're trying to unravel that. The headache, the hassle, the aggravation. PropertyFirewall.com is the site that you can visit. And Matt, thanks for sharing some of those stories, man.
Great, absolutely.
Appreciate it. Keep up the good work. And
thank you.
Kevin Overstreet out there is a partner on the show, expert contributor on the show, owns title companies. He also represents PropertyPrequal.com is another innovation that Kevin has brought to the marketplace. I know he's getting some traction with that business as well, and he's just very knowledgeable in the area of title insurance and those types of issues that are affecting homeowners. So it's another area of our show is a consumer advocate approach, helping you understand your buying decisions, making you more street smart. So hey, coming up we got Sam McKeown as well, Alive and At Peace Coaching. We love having Sam on the show. He's got some great tips, some knowledge around the business area, and he's an executive coach, speaker, and trainer. So Sam McKeown going to be right here on the other side of this break. Don't touch that dial. Plus, our feel-good story of the day, man turns unexpected inheritance into random acts of kindness campaign. We'll be right back.
This is Chris Voss, former FBI lead hostage negotiator and owner of the Black Swan Group, and you're listening to Consumer Quarterback Show hosted by my friend Brandon Rhymes.
To get in touch with Brandon, call 813-670-7372. Online at consumerqb.com.
Oh, yeah. Alrighty, if everyone's ready, please stand by.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
You're listening to The Consumer Quarterback, Brandon Rhymes, online at consumerqb.com. Brandon is Tampa Bay's #1 consumer advocate for real estate and financial advice. Call Brandon today at 813-670-7372.
And we're back. Brandon Rhymes here, Consumer Quarterback Show, Platinum MVP team, Keller Williams Realty, 607 South Willow Avenue in South Tampa. This is a great opportunity to buy real estate in South Tampa, Plant High School District, and a great property. Almost 2,700 square feet, historic duplex home. So you've got 2 rental opportunities, or live in one side, rent the other. Plant High School District, one of the most popular high school districts in all of Tampa Bay. Minutes from downtown. Great opportunity right here in Tampa Bay. 607 South Willow Avenue, one of our hot listings from the Platinum MVP team, Keller Williams Realty. All right, 1780 Clearwater, Largo Road. This is a commercial property. It's a great asset to add to your portfolio. Maybe you're looking at a 1031 exchange. You've got a corner lot location, 40,000 plus vehicles a day driving by, and it's a commercial building available for sale. So you could relocate your business to 1780 Clearwater, Largo Road, right here in beautiful Tampa Bay. You can see all of our listings at platinummvpteam.kw.com.
Somewhere sunny and 75.
All right, this segment's brought to you by Ramin Kazami and his team over at Heights Soft Wash. They've got a pressure washing business right here in Tampa Bay. If you're thinking about selling real estate, a great first step would be to get a pressure wash done, maybe improve some of the curb appeal. Ramin Kazami and his team, Heights Soft Wash, pressure wash company right here in Tampa Bay. Let them know the real estate quarterback sent you. Give them a call and book them today. All right, we've got our friend Sam McKeown back in studio. Welcome in.
How you doing, Brandon?
Hey, Sam, doing great, my friend.
Good. I got some John Wooden stuff for you.
Yeah.
Okay, so one of the things that I'm doing some research on him, and we both know people who really like John Wooden, okay? But he would take a young player. So a player come in, going to play basketball for him at UCLA. First thing he would do is take him to the court, give him a basketball, and say, go shoot. Watch him for 2 to 3 hours, just shooting the basketball, letting the kid have fun, letting the kid just, no pressure, nobody else there. But at the end of that time, he'd sit the kid down and say, okay, you shoot best from here and here. Or you shoot best, this is your best shot.
Wow.
So what we're going to do, we're building plays around your best shot.
Nice.
And so that way, he was always playing to somebody's strength.
I love that.
One of his quotes is, I love this quote, just try to be the best you can, but never cease trying to be the best you can. That is in your power.
Right.
And all too often, we stop. You know, I read something today, 42% of college grads never read a book after they graduate college. 42%.
Wow.
You just spent $150,000 to go to college, and you never read a book again.
And that's your base. I mean, you're getting your base with college.
Yes.
You know?
Yeah. And I think the average is after you've been out of college 5 years, the knowledge is
exactly.
It's bad.
Like, what can you actually recall from your different classes? Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, right.
That's a good point, Sam.
Yeah.
And yeah, I love that. So Wooden, finding out, okay, you hit a great jump shot from this side that, we're going to put you in position to win.
To win. Yeah. Every time. That's your play. You know, and of course, obviously he did more than just one play for one, for a player, because otherwise a good defense would shut him down.
The key on him.
But he was able to bring the best out of every ball player that he had.
Nice.
And one of the other things, he talked a lot about being average, and one quote, and this is not his quotes, it's Somerset Maugham, said, "Only a mediocre person is always at his best." So, and one thing with Wooden, I mean, he just, and like I said, I grew up on the East Coast, and you hated to see all those championships, but he did bring out the best in his players all the time. And not just on the court.
How many did he win in a row, by the way?
It's like 11.
Wasn't it? That's what I was going to think.
Like that.
At least
It's
10 or 11.
Insane number.
Yeah.
You had to love to hate the guy, right?
And by the way, if you're not a college basketball fan, John Wooden coached, was it UCLA? UCLA Bruins, and he won like 10 or 11 championships in a row. Unbelievable.
And the ball players that came out of there.
Yeah.
And on
and off the court. Like
on and off the court. Yeah, he built character. There was just no two ways about it. And character's everything.
Yeah.
I mean, it really is. I liked your last guest because he came on and he was honest.
Yeah, exactly.
He made some mistakes. He did some things. He figured out how to way to get away with it for a while.
Yep.
But he's upfront, honest, and there's a character there.
Yep.
And unfortunately, in our society, we have a tendency to, oh, you did that.
Yeah.
Rather than, oh, this is what you're doing to correct that.
Right.
And it just that's a sign of a small mind, small people who can't look past a person's shortcomings or their past.
Right.
And unfortunately, many of us live in our past. When we think about something that happened in the past, so if you think about something negative that happened to you in the past, and you think about it, where does it hit you? It hits you right now. So if you think about a bad situation, you feel that.
In the present.
Okay?
Yes.
So if you're going to live like that, you're going to feel that all the time.
Right.
So if you are envisioning a future,
right,
your mind and your body can only act in the now. So if you envision future success and you can see it in your mind, you can feel that in your body right now, and that's when you have to grab hold of those feelings and move forward. I firmly believe that every idea that we have, you, me, James, is God inspired.
Right.
That's how it is. Okay, so here's the thing.
Enthusiasm. By the way, just a good insert here. Enthusiasm. The word enthusiasm. Yeah. It's something like the God within.
Yes.
That's the Latin means the God
Latin
within.
Yeah.
So when you get enthusiastic about something, it means wow, you're connecting with God. You're sent that message.
Right. And here's the thing. Would God give you an idea that you weren't fully resourced to take care of right now?
Exactly.
And you can go back and look at Scripture. Moses argued with God how many times?
Yeah.
I mean, I'd have just gone on to somebody else, and finally he said to Moses, "What's in your hand?"
The staff.
And that was it. He was fully resourced. And so if you have an idea, or maybe you have this idea for a product or a service or some sort of opportunity, you're fully resourced. You just have to pull that out of yourself.
Yeah.
You have everything you need. Oh, well, I don't have enough money. Well, you're fully resourced to figure out how to get that much money.
Yeah.
All too often I hear entrepreneurs saying, well, it's a bad week. If it keeps going like this, I'm going to be broke. Well, yeah, you are.
If you
just
say that,
spoke it into existence.
Yeah. And back to your resourceful resources, it's not resources, it's resourcefulness.
Yes,
right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
And you just have to draw on it,
Right.
If you had no listings today, what would you do?
Hustle, get some more.
Hustle and get some more. That's
Yeah.
right. And you have the ability and the knowledge, and you can draw on past success.
Right.
And know that you're going to be successful again.
Yeah.
It's when we draw on past failures that we
Yeah.
have not learned from that we have a tendency to not succeed.
One of the things, too, I want to throw in there is we're talking with Sam McKeown here on the Consumer Quarterback Show, Alive and at Peace coaching Sam McKeown, and I'm Brandon Rhymes. One of the things I want to throw in there is it's like one of the simplest lessons from Gary Keller, the author of Millionaire Real Estate Agent, Millionaire Real Estate Investor, The One Thing, and others. For me, it was always, and I think a lot of salespeople, this can translate not just to real estate business, but other businesses, right?
Right.
We go after that new business, that new deal, that expired listing, or that for sale by owner to bring in new business. But a lot of times, and I know even me, like I'll profess, hey, I didn't do that. I committed the sin, right? I didn't follow up with my clients that I had already closed business with enough. You know, we just sometimes we just look right past them. But how easy is it to have a quick 2-minute call? Hey, just checking in on you. Want to see how you're doing? You know, by the way, so and so. Oh, congratulations on your grandkid. Whatever it might be. But maintain those relationships, because now you got over 10 years of relationships. You know, times that number by 100, whatever. You got 1,000 plus people that are in your sphere of influence. Your friends.
Right.
They're going to send you business.
Exactly. We always think that. We've worked them through a problem. We've sold them a house. We've sold them a car. We whatever.
Exactly.
And we don't keep following up. I would say that I'm not sure how it looks in the real estate business, because the friends that I have in it, I mean, the realtor that sold us our house 15 years ago in Cheyenne, Wyoming, still contacts me.
Exactly.
so
that's a professional that does the basics.
And I'm not moving back to Cheyenne, Wyoming. So anyway, but those are the people who are successful in any industry. It doesn't matter what that industry is. Yeah. And, you have to ask yourself some questions every day when it comes to your business. You know, first question I ask myself in the morning is, what am I going to do today to move my business forward? Yeah. And it could be something simple. You know, today with, messing up at the gym the other day, it was actually getting up out of bed and walking, and then when it comes to business, you have to network. Yeah. And so do I have any networking events on my calendar? Right. And if you're in my business, in your business, any business, if you don't have a networking event on your calendar, you need to call me. I'll help you get that set up. You know
That's
what
important.
I mean?
Yeah.
I mean, it is. You have to get out there and you have to meet people. You have to, and you can overdo it, but I'm telling you what, if you don't do it, you have underdid it.
Yeah.
Another point.
So networking, while you're on that topic, networking is opening back up post-COVID, and the whole vaccine stuff and the Chinese virus. So networking is opening back up. That's a good news for local business owners.
It is. I belong to the Upper Tampa Bay Regional Chamber of Commerce. Yep. Our office is in Oldsmar, and we kind of shut down, but not really. I mean, we did a lot of virtual events and things like that, but we have really been going whole hog lately, and we have several networking events every month. If you're not a member, you're invited to come to, for example, at Aston Gardens tomorrow at 7:30 in the morning. If you want to come, let me know so I can get you on the list, because we only take 30 people. But we're out and about now, and the networking is, it's amazing how people are just getting out and learning new business. We've had, I think, 3 or 4 new members in the last week. And that's pretty cool,
Talk about let's tease this for the next segment. When we come back, I want to talk about local chamber of commerce, and then maybe the difference, if you have some insights. I listened to a little bit on Charlie Kirk's show and stuff, but the bigger U.S. Chamber of Commerce, which is a different game. It's a different game. I want to talk about pros and cons there, and networking as well. More with Sam McKeown when we come back after this quick break. Alive and at Peace Coaching. He's an executive coach, a speaker, and a trainer. Plus, we have our feel good story of the day. Here's a good feel good story coming up. Man turns an unexpected inheritance into random acts of kindness campaign. Stay with us. We'll be right back after this short break.
This is Warwick Dunn, and you're listening to the Real Estate Quarterback Show, hosted by my man, Brandon Rhymes.
To get in touch with Brandon, call 813-670-7372. Online at consumerqb.com.
This is Diane Vance with Fairway Independent Mortgage, a member of the Consumer Quarterback Show. Please give me a call for any of your mortgage needs. We do all sorts of loans. If you would like information on a mortgage, you can text me or call me at 727-647-8199. I will take care of all your mortgage needs. Go to my website at dianevance.com.
Ian Beckles here with my man, Brandon Rhymes, a.k.a. the Real Estate Quarterback. Brandon, what's happening with the market?
Thanks, Ian. We are in a low inventory market, so any of our listeners are homeowners and would like a free comparable market analysis or a 2.5% listing, we will honor this for the first 3 listeners who call or text in 813-773-1253. Free CMA and a 2.5% real estate listing at 813-773-1253.
Check out consumerqb.com. Selling commercial or residential property? Don't leave money on the table. List with the Platinum MVP team at Keller Williams Realty. I'm Brandon Rhymes. Reach me at 813-670-7372 or platinummvpteam.com.
You're listening to the consumer quarterback, Brandon Rhymes, cutting through your typical media nonsense and offering you a rational and unbiased perspective on current events and life in Tampa Bay. Online at consumerqb.com.
All right, welcome back. Thanks for sticking with us. Brandon Rhymes here, Consumer Quarterback Show, Platinum MVP team, Keller Williams Realty. Every day we like to tell you something good in our feel-good story of the day.
Tell me something good.
All right, so a Northern Virginia man and his 3-month-old grandson have just wrapped up a month-long Random Acts of Kindness tour. George came into an unexpected inheritance that he said he really didn't need, so he decided to share it with people who were struggling and people who help those that are struggling. And he said, quote, I had this idea. I figured that some of us in the world were doing better than others, and some of those who were needed to share some of that good fortune with other ones weren't doing so well, George says, end quote. And for 1 month, George and his sidekick Miles handed out $100 a day with a note that read, please accept this random act of kindness. If you don't need it, feel free to share it with others. So there's a feel-good story of the day, telling you something good here on the Consumer Quarterback Show. Sam McKeown in studio. We love those stories, don't we, Sam?
We do. It's all about giving back anyway, and it doesn't matter what you're, go out and hand out a $100 bill. I do some things with some friends, and we call it Wealth Wednesday.
There you go.
So total random act of kindness involving a financial transaction for which there is no possibility of return to you. That changes your money mindset.
Nice.
So if you can give it away,
yeah,
and it doesn't matter. It could be a quarter. It could be somebody's coffee in front or behind you or whatever. But it begins to change your mindset.
I love that.
So I love that kind of stuff.
Yeah, man. So we were talking about Chamber of Commerce.
Yes.
So on a local level, Chamber of Commerce is great. It helps small businesses. You network with each other. There's some really cool things that go on. The National Chamber of Commerce, sometimes is not so good, and you hear this with different shows right here on Salem Radio. But the National Chamber of Commerce is more of a immigration. They want to just open up immigration, let everybody come in, so they can push down wages. And, they're pro-big corporations. But anyways, for the good people here, getting involved with different networking groups and those types of things is great because you can meet different people and you never know who's just one step away that you're really going to click with,
Exactly. The local chambers of commerce, we have several in the area. The largest one, obviously, is Tampa. But I belong to Upper Tampa Bay Regional Chamber of Commerce. We're out of Oldsmar. We service Citrus Park, West Chase, Oldsmar, and Town and Country. We have just shy of 500 members right now, and I would challenge any other chamber in the area to match our level of involvement in the community and the number of events that we do every year.
Right.
We are getting ready to do Oktoberfest.
Nice.
Now, the problem with Oktoberfest is that it will be in Hillsborough County at Tampa Bay Downs, which it's been there every year except for last year.
That's right on the line, though.
Yeah,
it's right over there.
It is right on the line.
Yeah.
But Hillsborough County has to approve all the permits. So,
there you go.
So there you go. So we both know how that goes.
The tale of two counties.
But, the tale of two counties. And then we also have Oldsmar. There's another Oldsmar celebration in the fall that we'll be doing, and that we're really excited. We're really excited about that. But the biggest difference between the National, which the National hurt the local area chambers of commerce when it came to the PPP loans, because chambers of commerce are usually a 501c6. Okay, and National Chamber of Commerce gets way too involved in politics.
Yes.
If your local chamber of commerce is involved in politics, you probably need to step away. We work well hand in hand with all the city and county governments and things like that, but we are not a political entity.
Yeah.
We don't take sides, and we're there strictly for the business people. And I'll tell you what, the networking opportunities, you may only be 6 people away from the person that's going to bounce your business to the next level.
That's right. Yeah. So let's see. A lot of different places. I love having these conversations about, professional development, taking it to the next level, trying to figure out ways to grow. And that's one of the things I've always been enamored with throughout my career is just looking at, taking in information. We kind of talked about, too, just what a great time it is to be alive and to be, there are some bad things, some negative things, big tech and some of these different things that you're seeing and, censorship and all that kind of stuff. But, as far as opportunity, though, as far as the opportunity, the American dream, and that could be a lot of different things for a lot of different people, starting a business, owning a home, etc. But when you look at the opportunities today, to go online, pull down information from Vimeo or YouTube,
Right.
Watch videos, grow your sphere of influence, like we just talked about. What are some of the biggest opportunities you're seeing right now, Sam?
Honestly, using social media totally to your advantage. Not that you're counting on it to grow your income or anything like that, but to put you out there. We taught a bunch of standard business people how to go on TikTok.
Okay.
And so you can say what you want about TikTok, but they're getting play off of it. They're getting customers off it. And the videos, they're not silly dance videos or stuff like that. But we had one Express Oil and Tire Engineers in Oldsmar. He just did a video of a guy driving into his pit,
Yeah.
And people they have no idea what goes on underneath the car.
Right.
And so, and the shop is clean. I mean, you could eat off of Jason's floor,
Yep.
And you have guys like our friend Thomas King at Florida Firearms Academy,
Great guy,
right?
yep.
And he's doing TikTok videos.
Yeah.
So it's amazing. But what has happened through that, at our chamber, we do a weekly lunch and learn on a variety of topics. Well, one of the weeks was TikTok.
Okay.
And the old fart taught it. I mean, I just, I went on, I have a buddy who teaches that stuff. I listened to what he had to say and then put it out there. And so those are some of the things that we're seeing, is that interaction on social media. And then it's like here, we share each other's videos. We put that stuff out there. And so that continues to grow.
Exactly.
Your circle of influence, my circle of influence. I have a friend of mine. His name is Mike Kim. And he just wrote a book called You Are the Brand. He's going to promote it with my social media.
Yep.
He's going to promote it with, he sent an invitation to 50 people to sign up and say, okay, number one, you get a free copy of the book. Number two, you get his inner circle coaching, which I'll tell you what, it's not cheap. And that's how he's going to promote the book.
Nice.
So what's he given up? He's given up a couple hours a month of his time,
Yep.
which to me is very valuable to sit in and listen to the man. I really
Right.
like listening to him. And then I do me and 49 other people promote his book.
Right.
On our websites, on our social media and stuff like that. And it's already getting some play. It hasn't been released yet.
That's awesome.
So it's just, and so those kind of things are just the opportunities that you get. And we do have an author, a resident author at the Upper Tampa Bay Regional Chamber of Commerce also. He's been trying to retire for 2 years now. His name is Gerald Jacobs. He's written a couple of good books. But those are the types of people that you meet in a Chamber of Commerce that's active.
Yeah, that's really cool. I love it. I love getting out there. Sam McKeown here on the Consumer Quarterback Show. I'm your host, Brandon Rhymes. He's an executive coach, speaker, and trainer, Alive and at Peace Coaching. And talk a little bit about some of your top rules to success. We got about a minute and a half left here. What's the top thing that people can do? I love how you said wake up every day, start thinking about getting momentum. What's another quick tip that people can do to try to take advantage of the day?
Stop and breathe. When you get up in the morning, don't turn the phone on. Just get up, take that quiet, whether you meditate, whether you pray, whether, whatever. But take that time, those first few minutes. I use about 20 to 30 minutes every morning. And before I turn the phone on, before I do my email, before I do anything because it'll all wait.
Yep.
It'll all wait. And take it in. Begin the day with communication with yourself. And where am I going today? What am I going to do today? I always have a notebook and a pad next to me. So if something comes to mind, I write it down.
Yeah.
And that's where I get some of my best ideas.
Yeah, exactly. Connecting with God, doing meditation on your incantations. I love Chet Holmes, one of the great business leaders of the past. Unfortunately, he passed years ago too. He would take a video recorder and he would do his incantations into that video recorder. If you're not familiar with incantations, I'm blessed and highly favored. I'm happy and grateful now that money flows to me in increasing quantities.
Yes.
All these different, I feel great, I feel fine, I feel like this all the time. There's a lot of those, but figure out 4, 5, 6 maybe that are good for you, that really fit with you. Take out a recorder. You can even do it on your phone nowadays and play that on a loop. Play that on a loop before you go to bed or first thing in the morning. And you'll be amazed at how these things will start happening and resources will start showing up, talking about resources. But what's the best place to find you at? You got your website? SamandReadAlive.com, or you can email me at sam@aliveandatpeace.com. Email is, text is probably better. That's 813-379-9008. But I want to hit one last thing.
learn to say, I am.
There you
I
go.
am the best.
Yes.
I am fully resourced.
That's right. I love it. Hey, great stuff today. Thanks so much. We appreciate all of our team out there, the folks listening, and Sam, thanks again. And we want you to please go out there and consider committing a random act of kindness. Do something kind for one another. Be a force for good in the community. And we'll see you next time right here on the Consumer Quarterback Show, consumerqb.com.
You've been listening to The Consumer Quarterback, Brandon Rhymes. Whether it's real estate, consumer, or financial advice, let Brandon call your next play. Contact Brandon Rhymes at 813-670-7372. That's 813-670-7372. Online at consumerqb.com. And join us next time for The Consumer Quarterback Show.